As we continue the undrafted series here on the undrafted free agents picked up by the Detroit Lions, today we're going to take a look at safety Brandon Joseph out of Notre Dame. A lot of you guys wanted me to take a look at this guy, and I have. And, before we go any further, I think any undrafted rookie free agent has a chance to make the team. We've seen this happen before where UDFAs, some were actually like this guy here. You'll see that he was actually mocked to get drafted by NFLDraftBuzz.com, but that was not the case. So, as with people drafted, sometimes they don't live up to the expectations, and undrafted people surpass expectations. So, any one of these individuals could make the team. We'll look at who his competition is as of right now as we proceed. But Brandon Joseph ran a 4.6240, which is in the 30 percentile. So he is not the fastest guy on the field. And we're going to see that that's actually one of his weaknesses as we go on through his strengths and weaknesses and summarize Brandon Joseph. Here are his strengths. Does a good job getting his head around when playing with his back to the line of scrimmage. Has the ability to cover quickness underneath. Tracks the ball well downfield and shows good ball skills, including the ability to go up and high point it in contested catch situations. High football IQ. I think that's supposed to be knows everything pretty well. He is a real ball hawk with excellent overall ball skills. Joseph tracks the ball well downfield and has the hands and coordination to come away with interceptions even when Joseph isn't targeted often. Very good soft hands, proof of his background as a receiver. Able to roll from sideline to sideline, very rangy player. Gives up his body in run support with a good closing burst. Good strength to tackle, plays with high energy, and is a tough-minded overachiever. So as of right now, this guy sounds like a Dan Campbell, Detroit Lion type of guy. But as we will see, there are some things that he needs to work on in his game as well. Now on to his weaknesses. Has a decent but not great speed and probably shouldn't be trusted in deep coverage against receivers. Overall coverage will never be elite, and his upside is limited as a result. Has very inconsistent tackling technique and too often just throws himself at the lower body of the ball carrier instead of wrapping him up. Plays out of control too often, laying a lot of big hits but also missing a lot of tackles along the way. Joseph also needs to do a better job reading routes when sitting back as a single high safety. Inconsistent getting off the blocks, can be a step slow to react when a quarterback comes back to a side of the field in late progression. Needs to tighten his angles in pursuit, needs to show better tackling technique to consistently finish. So it seems like this guy, as we've been saying, about 9 out of 10 of these undrafted free agents have massive upside if they're in the right system. But here's what the summary report says about him, and I think this will tell you all you need to know. It says Brandon Joseph is a solid prospect who does everything well but nothing at an elite level and is a kind of low ceiling, high floor kind of player who can quickly become a solid NFL starter in the right system, but is unlikely to set the league on fire. We currently have a 3rd round grade on him heading into the 2023 NFL draft. So these guys had a 3rd round grade for Brandon Joseph, and he goes undrafted. When it comes to undrafted players, it's mainly, to me, there's something that made them, with NFL scouts, fall out of the draft, but that doesn't mean that that's the end. That doesn't mean that they can't come in and outshine an actual person that was drafted. So when it comes to Brandon Joseph, there are some things that can't be taught, like speed. He's not going to get any faster, most likely, but he can be taught to tackle, proper tackling technique. He can be taught a lot of things, and that's why the coaching staff is very important. So when we look at our defensive backs, how likely is it that he makes the team? This one is interesting right here. We're going to start. We have quite a bit right now. Khalil Dorsey, Will Harris, Jerry Jacobs, who's also undrafted, Chase Lucas, he was a 7th round pick, Mac McCain III, Emmanuel Mosley, a free agency signing, Savion Smith recovering from that injury. I don't think he was drafted as well, Cameron Sutton, and Jaron Williams. I've never even heard of him. Brian Branch, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So we already know CJ GJ, Brian Branch, Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Mosley. We already know those guys are making the team. Jerry Jacobs probably will. I mean, Will Harris keeps finding a way, and Chase Lucas. So I think he would be competing. I think he does have a good chance to make the team. And again, if you are playing well on special teams, that is how you make this team, especially if you're a guy that's on the bubble. I don't care what position you are. If you're on the bubble and you play special teams and you do that well, you are most likely to stay on this roster. So those are my thoughts on Brandon Joseph. Let me know yours in the comments below, and let me know who you would like to see next here on Undrafted as we continue our series. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.